Here's a little tip for anyone looking for more consistency in their coaching business. Now, I woke up this morning to about $600 in sales, which I do most mornings, $400, $500, $600, which isn't a lot of money by any means, but it's pretty much every day I wake up and my ad spend for the day is covered, right? I spend probably $500-600 a day on ads, and that's usually covered by the time I wake up. So any clients who come in, you know, we've got like a $2,000 program, a $10,000 program, all of that is 100% profit. And I was thinking to myself, what is it that allows somebody to create such a level of consistency while other people have no consistency in their business, right? And I came to a conclusion, and I thought I want to share this with you guys. Now, one of the number one things that will give you super consistency in your business is putting systems in place that eliminate human error, right? Now, let me explain what I mean by that. So in my previous videos, I've spoken about the things that you need to achieve in order to actually get clients, right? You have to attract people, you have to nurture people, you have to close people. So in other words, you need traffic, you need content, and you need a sales process. But what you want to do is you want to create systems in those three areas that run like a machine. So again, in one of my previous videos, I mentioned leverage. Ideally, you want leverage, something that provides you with an asymmetric return where you can put a little bit in and get a lot out. But I was thinking one level deeper, and what you really want is something that eliminates human error. Now, if you're relying on any one part or one of those three parts of your business, if you're relying on something that requires your input, sooner or later, everything's going to come crumbling. And I've noticed this in my business as well. Like, I am far from perfect. If something requires me to just keep doing something again and again and again to like a really high standard, sooner or later, I'm going to fall off the wagon or I'm not going to do it, and then you're not going to get the result. So for example, if you growing your business relies on outreach, well, then you have to keep doing the outreach, because as soon as you stop, your whole business is going to stop, right? And that is that's like that traffic stage. Or if your nurturing process relies on you posting content on Instagram 3 times a day, if it relies on reels, stories, sooner or later, you're going to fall off the wagon, right? And now you're going to stop getting clients because people aren't nurtured. If your sales process relies on you booking calls, sooner or later, you're going to fall off the wagon. Now you might be thinking, Ryan, you're doing these YouTube videos. Yes, I am doing these YouTube videos, but I don't need to, right? Like, I'm not relying on it. Yeah. Like, this isn't the main thing that nurtures my audience. My product does that. Okay. But just a little side note, with regards to these videos, you'll even notice that I don't really edit them. If I need to put a screen share in, I'll put a screen share in, but I don't edit them. I don't do any fancy animations or motion graphics or anything like that. And guess why that is? It's because I know from past experience, if I have to do these super fancy videos, sooner or later, I'm going to stop doing them. Yeah, that's one of my weak points. You know, if I've ever tried to do super fancy, like bougie content, I just don't stick to it. And I know that. And maybe you know that about yourself. But that's an example, right? Having to constantly put out fancy content. Like, this is super easy for me because I come up with a topic that will be valuable and I just pick up my camera and just press the button and start talking. So that's a little tip for you guys, right? Your content doesn't have to be fancy. In the last 3 days, I've got 2 clients who have actually come from a YouTube video, which is insane, right? Because this takes me no time at all. you know, very low kind of view count compared to other people. And I've still got a couple of clients. You know, one of those was 10 grand without a sales call, which is insane. So start picking up the camera and making content. But anyway, I digress. You don't want to leave room for human error in any of these three spots, right? Traffic, nurture, sales process. You want to put systems in place. And the reason for this is when you put a system in place to do these things, once you get it dialed in, a system tends to consistently produce the same result for the long term. So for example, if you are trying to generate traffic by, you know, reaching out to people in Facebook groups or posting in Facebook groups or posting on Instagram, that's going to be inconsistent as soon as you slip up. Whereas if you run an ad campaign and you find a couple of winning ads that work, they tend to work for months and months. You know, I've had ads before that I've actually left running for a year and a half that have brought me customers every single day. And the reason that it's worked that way is because it doesn't need any input from me. Because I know if it needs input from me, I'm going to fuck it up at some point. Yeah. You know, even now, the way that our customers are nurtured into clients is through our milestone workshop. So that's 5 pieces of content that I recorded once, and then every single customer goes through those same 5 pieces of content without my input. Yeah, and they're refined, and I know they convert, and I can just leave them to do their job. So I know people are going to get nurtured. Yeah. Same with the sales process. You know, from our workshop, we drive people to a checkout and it just works. It doesn't require me to constantly be chasing people around in the DMs, booking sales calls, things like that. Because once again, I know that if I was left to my own devices, at some point that's going to drop off. And, you know, in the past, you know, I've had sales teams, I've had appointment setters and stuff like that. You might be thinking, well, you can just hire that stuff out, right? And that's true, but your sales team are going to fall off the wagon every now and then. Trust me, there is nothing more annoying than hiring appointment setters and then they perform and then they stop performing, right? Then they get sick, then they need time off, then somebody quits, now you need to hire again. There's still so much room for human error. It has good leverage because it takes it off your plate, but there's still somebody in that position that can mess it all up. Just because it's not you doesn't mean that they can't mess it all up, because they can. So that's just a little tip for you today. Look at those 3 areas: traffic, nurturing, sales process, and figure out how to systematize these things. Because once you do, I'm telling you, your business will be so stress-free. It's literally unbelievable. At the minute in my business, I do 1 call a week, not a sales call, client call. And I just work on my product and making my product better. And that's pretty much it. I don't do any prospecting. I don't do any sales calls. You know, I've started doing these videos, these YouTube videos, because I literally just thought, why not? Like I have nothing tying me down where it's like I need to do these things every day. That doesn't exist in my business. Because on the traffic side, I've got my ads running. You know, I look at that for, you know, maybe 5 minutes a day. When it comes to nurturing, I've got my product that does the nurturing. And then for the sales process, that's all automated. So I thought, do you know what? Let's just start putting out a few YouTube videos. Okay. But figure out how to put these systems in place, because it will change everything, right? If you've got any questions about this, what I'm actually going to do moving forward for these videos is I'm going to leave my business WhatsApp number in the description. I saw somebody else doing this the other day and I thought, do you know what? That's a good way to connect with people who are serious about this stuff. So if you've got any questions about this stuff, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to shoot you a voice note, help you out. I'll leave my my business WhatsApp number in the description down below. I'll also leave a link to a free training on the cashback funnel, which is basically the funnel that we use to acquire customers, 24 hours a day for free. Like I said before, I woke up to $600 this morning. The cashback funnel is what does that. Okay, the $600 came from the cashback funnel. So I'll leave a training below where you can check that out. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe, because these videos are so easy to shoot. So I'm on a YouTube consistency run for the rest of this year, all right? So if you're not subscribed, make sure you do. Drop a like on this video, drop a comment down below as well. That's everything. I'll catch you on the next one.